chlorine-based solutions work. Those who are using peracetic acid, which is normally used in salad washing, works. Alcohol works. And we're saying ethanol, isopropyl alcohol, and methylated spirits all work. We know that some quaternium ammonium compounds work.
I think there's a paper on
South Australian Health has published one on what work.
So that's also on our newsletter and on our website.
Hydrogen peroxide solutions that are sometimes used. People like hairdressers use hydrogen peroxide solution for combs. They work. We know, and the major one, of course, the really simple one is 82-degree water works. So hot water, boiling water works, and the rinse cycle on a commercial dishwasher works as well.
Okay, so there's no surface swabs. We can't do a swab and find out if it's there. But
we can swab for the presence of protein being present. But that could indicate the blood's there or a bacteria. It doesn't, but a swab that detects a positive result, if it's detecting protein, will only tell you something's there. What you've got to be careful of is a lot of swabs actually detect bacteria. They could detect negative and a virus could be there because viruses and bacteria are as different as plants are from animals.
So really we could use the protein swabs, the quick response protein swabs, to check that everything is being cleaned as per normal. Rather than use the bacterial swabs, which are more specific, using protein swabs will tell us whether there's anything there. We're not knowing whether it's blood or milk or bacteria or coronavirus, but we know something is there and we haven't cleaned properly. So it probably wouldn't hurt for those businesses who are familiar with those protein swabs to use that and verify their cleaning procedures are effective as well. What about other controls? What about cooking?
Cooking will kill it. And when we say cooking, if people know the normal cooking, 75 degrees, 65 for 10 minutes.
75 or equivalent, yeah.
Yeah, what people call the Listeria cook, the cook to decide the bacteria Listeria monocytogenes, that will kill this bug. In fact, that will easily kill this bug. Normal cooking methods. There are some other methods used in the food processing industry, which are harder. Canning, UHT,
and that's why we're seeing the run on those products.
Long life milk and canned milk will certainly kill it.
Those processes are so high in temperature and so effective that the product will last for a long time.
There's evidence that irradiation will kill it. We don't do that in this country, but overseas that's done.
What about freezing?
Freezing with all viruses, and I suppose we saw this with hepatitis in frozen berries and in pomegranate seeds. Freezing will not kill it, or at least there is no evidence. This is new, but there's no evidence that freezing will necessarily kill it off. Studies are still being done. Certainly, if we just draw the analogy on other food poisoning bugs like hepatitis, that will easily survive freezing. Your assumption until we know better is this will survive freezing. So just getting something that's cold, freezing it, and then thawing it out and assuming the freezing process will kill it off is something we don't know about yet. We can't yet assume that just freezing something kills it. Cooking will, freezing we don't know. So your assumption should be no, it doesn't, until we know more.
Okay, so let's look at some of the specific questions that some of the businesses that we worked with have asked. Should food handlers be wearing face masks at this stage?
No. Mainly because they shouldn't be sneezing or coughing anyway. Most of the face masks that you see on the market are the standard,
if you can get them,
are the hospital masks. We need to draw an analogy to the bushfires. And when the bushfire smoke was on, they were telling people wearing those paper masks don't work because smoke comes in from the side. Now the same is true with a sneeze. If someone's sneezing and you've got a mask over here, you just suck the air in from the side and the coronavirus can come in that way as
Droplets
well.
come in.
Yeah. You need the P2 mask. Someone like me, a P2 mask doesn't work because the beard stops it. You basically need it to get there and basically stick flat. If it's not sticking tight, it should be up on the nose.
Up on your nose.
If it's not sticking really tight, stuff can still come in from the side. Now the reverse, if you're wearing one because you've got cough or cold, why are you at work? If you're sneezing and got a cough,
Yes.
you shouldn't be working. But if you were in a situation where you were wearing one in case you sneeze or cough, you need a P2 mask. If you've got the normal one, that will stop the big bits of spit, and they'll stick on the mask, but stuff will still come out the sides.
Right.
And so the sneeze and cough
So
will
it's that
still come out.
tight-fitting
Needs to be-
P2 mask.
Yeah, it's the P2, you're almost like a gas mask you need to wear.
What about staff lunches or meals from home? People bringing their food from home?
Well, the food from home should be okay if it's been cooked properly, and remember, evidence is it's not on the outside of packaging. Your main hassle is social distancing. Most workplace
So
canteens,
canteens, work areas, coffee areas,
outdoor smokers, all of those need to follow
water filter,
water cooling
machines.
machines, bubblers. They all need to follow social distancing as well, which means in a big facility where everyone used to sit together, we can't do that anymore.
What about staff uniforms, PPE and disposable coats and things like that? Again, not necessary.
They shouldn't be necessary if your normal rules are you should be wearing them, then wear them. But in your facility, if you make safe food regularly, you shouldn't have to change your PPE. You shouldn't start wearing gloves or masks or wearing boots because your normal procedure should be good enough.
Okay, so what about taking people's temperatures when they come to work?
It's really not necessary. Look, you could argue if I test everyone, I will catch them the day before when they're up sick. But, testing people, apart from the fact you have to buy a laser probe, which is several $100s, and you have to use it properly, and it has to be calibrated.
That's not really your job, is it? It's really just to say don't come to work if you're ill, and if you are ill, go to the doctor, or you're feeling ill, stay home.
Correct. Or remember, if your family, if you're caring for kids and the kids have it, you shouldn't be coming to work either.
Okay. We've seen different reports about cash handling, and we've seen China disinfecting a lot of their cash. Any advice around businesses who deal with cash?
I do notice a number of businesses, including the supermarkets, are saying pay by tapping or credit card. The only study I see which is unfortunate for Australia, because it's all been done on paper currency, because they're American and European studies, and we have plastic notes.
Right.
The evidence is saying coronavirus can lodge inside paper notes. Now, we have to assume if we can find it on metal and we can find it on plastic, that it would survive on currency for 2 to 3 days. So, reality is, in the short term, if you can avoid using notes and coins...
Or if you've got a cash handling facility, give it to one person, hand wash.
Yeah, get them to use get them to use a sanitizer after they've handled money.
What about disposable cutlery and crockery rather than normal cutlery and crockery?